side of all of this that data professionals have to get to senior leading.
Those are the kind of guys that will be early adopters with data literacy programs.
Analytics, storytelling that you do need to bring into the curriculum,
That they are as close to the network of driving that culture. I think that's very interesting in terms of, like we've said before in the session, of how you take your business objectives and whether or not you're fulfilling that through data means that you do actually, without defining it, have a data strategy. And so, again, taking that to a new perspective of what's to come with AI, where do you begin? You have to have structure towards which tools will benefit those decisions being made. If we're taking some of the technical away and allowing the end user to have these soft cost improvements on time and energy and efficiency, where do you start? There's so many tools out there. What have you seen in the world from that perspective of saying, where do I begin? You want to jump in head first, and this is expensive technology. If you get it wrong, you're costing the bottom line, right? So what is your advice to organizations out there when it comes to, and let's assume governance is in place, data quality is in place, and a data literacy program is active? Where do you actually put your feet into the water to test or to begin that AI literacy journey?
I look at use cases is the exact point. Do not start with a tool. Start with principles, right? So for example, where I started for our first generative AI proof of concept at the company I work for was, what if we put generative AI on our documentation around RFPs, request for proposal? We have so much documentation. We put a Gen AI model on top of it. And one example, a gentleman I worked with said, answering 75 to 100 questions in RFP could take 15 hours. Now it takes him 2. 13 hours of productivity that is now open for creativity, strategic thinking. So number one is find use cases. If you don't know where to start on use cases, go ask a senior leader, what are your top 3 priorities over the next 6 months? Those are the top 3 priorities. Then literally go out to Google or a ChatGPT and say, what AI tools do this? Then actually start demoing them and start saying, another way you can find proof points and use cases is in one of those priorities, ask that senior leader, what is the biggest pain point you have with this? There's pain behind these things. It's a challenge to do this. It's a challenge to do that. Are there AI tools to overcome this? So we're not boiling the ocean. We're not looking at everything. We're not overwhelmed. We're now saying, are there solutions to do this? Then in coupling with that, the literacy side is saying, okay, what skills would be necessary for more people to be able to do this? So then you're getting not a one-size-fits-all. You're finding an avenue for building a literacy program. You're finding an avenue for AI use cases, and you just start going. The key is don't hesitate. Like people might sit here and say, our data is not ready in this. All right, well, that's fine. In parallel that you're studying these pain points, be working on your data. And so it's when you break it down, it's less overwhelming. And so, but people don't know how to break it down. So hopefully that gave some frameworks on how to do that.
Very good advice. And I think also it just highlights how if you do get into that AI space early, it may highlight areas within your data that you have been overlooking from a data quality and governance point of view. It doesn't stop you, but it certainly does promote looking at that pain point again and improving the quality of data as both move forward potentially.
And I'm going to say, when you're looking at AI tools, make sure you keep in mind, can this tool do other things too? Or is it, if you get to one use case, that could be getting very expensive because then you're buying a new tool or whatever.
Per use case, yeah.
Like for the use case I described at the company I work for, they've got machine learning, forecasting, and there's like 20 or 30 things, not just a generative model. So how can I take that tool in an umbrella fashion and say, here's Gen AI solutions. These are my use cases. Here's the machine learning solutions. These are my use cases. So you're getting an economy of scale, so your investment goes further, and the CFO is going to like that.
At this point, one of the upsides of AI is it's very data quality and data governance hard again. Like you saw with data science, a lot of those projects failed because the data simply didn't support it, but we didn't see a big support from executive to go, all right, guys, let's support the data scientists and get their data right. Let's start a data quality governance
Hence why
program.
data engineers became something, right?
But Yeah, but now with the AI, we see top down to go whatever it takes to get this program
Yeah.
off the ground, get it done. This is a big game changer. This is going to transform industries and businesses. So get the data sorted, get the governance in place. So it's helping the whole data ecosystem, I think.
Agreed.